Hey Nuru, how you doing?
Hi, Trevor. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. How is the weather out there in Nairobi?
The weather is amazing. We have the privilege of, have being in a country where we are the equator is right at the center of Kenya. So we don't really have any extreme temperatures. So that's amazing. Right now it's hot, but not too hot.
That's incredible. So
Mhm.
right now we're in a bit of a summer around New York. So
Yeah.
what season is it technically there right now?
Okay, so we technically don't actually have seasons that we name, and that's because we don't have any extreme temperatures. So we'll probably just see the weather, cold, sunny, rainy, windy, but we don't really attach those to particular season.
Wow, that's amazing. So that sounds like you may be closer to the equator.
Yes, actually it runs right across the center of Kenya.
That's
Hmm.
incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, so I know you're a musician and you've got some great work that you've released already. I really enjoyed Safe. That was really neat. What was it like, your process of making that album, writing it, producing it, etc.?
Nice. Well, first of all, thank you. I really love Safe personally. And I think whenever someone asks me about my songwriting process or, how I came to land on a particular song, the first thing I always say is I write from my subconscious. I love to write from my subconscious. And this means that sometimes I will not realize what I was going through until later on when I'm listening to the song and I'm like, wow, okay, I was really going through it. And I think that helps me to stay authentic, to stay true to myself, and just to not get into the temptation to, try and conjure up certain formulas to make sure that my songs are popular, which is important. However, for me, authenticity is more of a priority. Yeah.
That's very neat. So, how did you end up connecting with your producer?
So, fun fact, he's actually my husband.
Nice.
So, yeah, we met almost, I'd say 10 years ago and immediately connected through music. And I think as an artist, it's really hard to find a producer that understands your sound and that you can really mesh with in the studio. So, I count myself lucky and blessed to be able to work with him. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I would love to ask your husband what DAW he likes, what type of software he likes recording through. Would you happen to know?
Yes, definitely. He's a Logic guy for sure. Second, I'd say would be Ableton, and then FL, a close third. Yeah.
Wow, great choices. Wow.
Hmm.
I think that as a producer, being able to implement the different instruments and plugins is very important. I think that he probably has a very, very nice curated sample pack of drums that he likes to use, his bass patches he likes to use. Like, I can really hear when I listen to it that the producer really knows what they're doing and not just somebody that just simply enjoys music, but somebody that's really studied it technically. Because
Hmm.
the way that things end up percussively happening with the rhythms, it is so rhythm heavy. And I remember you were mentioning that Afrobeat is very rhythm heavy.
Correct.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It started to take off a bit here in New York and in the US. I hear it on the
Yeah.
radio. I love it. Like we hear some from Nigeria, like Burna Boy. We hear him plenty on the radio here.
Yes.
So I'd love to see what your take is on how Afrobeat has really taken the world.
I guess first of all, I'm really proud. It's about time, that Africa has been recognized, as the home of music because it's always been a part of our lives. As much as the world is just getting to know about it, it's always been a part of our history, a part of our roots, a part of our culture. I could name a few artists. There's Miriam Makeba, there's Daudi Kabaka, there's Papa Wemba. There's so many artists that have gone before us to pave the way. And I'm just glad that, the time is here where people are finally paying attention because I think for a long time, Africa has gotten this stereotype, how it's portrayed in the media, poverty, corruption, a lot of negative things. But I'm glad that music is being used as a tool to sort of change that narrative. And it's very exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, I love it. I really do. I think it's really refreshing to hear a new voice, because I can, hearing the accent, hearing the different rhythms is a main thing. Like here, we do hear a lot of influences in our pop music from the Latin rhythms and things like that. And in hip hop, we've heard influences from rock and all the different samplings and things like that. And it's really, really cool to see some of the influences Afrobeat has had on producers here on this side. We're artists that are South African that are implementing some beats here on this side. Like I know Hyla, Doja
Yes.
Cat, like maybe. And yeah, there's an incredible work that we're beginning to see here. So I'm proud of it as well. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear about Flower in Bloom. Tell me about
Mhm.
that one.
Okay. Well, Fly in Bloom is my most recent project. It's an EP that I released this year, a few months ago. And it's really close to my heart because songwriting is very close to my heart. And as we've discussed, Afrobeat is very rhythm heavy. You feel the groove, you feel, makes you want to dance. But I think Flower in Bloom sort of explores a different side to African music where we're exploring melody, we're exploring the use of lyricism and songwriting to express ourselves. And so I think it's a different approach, and it's sort of completes the package of what African music is all about.
Yeah, it's incredible. So your influences as an artist, I'd love to hear some of them.
Hmm.
I'm sure that it comes from many different places in the world, right? From studying in UK and hearing pop music that's internationally known, but as well as stuff that you grew up listening to. I'd love to hear some
Hmm.
references.
Yeah. So the thing about Kenya, and it's a great thing as well, is we are exposed to a lot of culture. And growing up, I did listen to a lot of Western music, a lot of artists that are popular out there and nationally, Alicia Keys, Beyonce, Taylor Swift as well. I think country was a really surprising genre for me to get into, but truly it taught me almost everything I know about lyricism and songwriting because I feel like, country music, they just have a way of expressing themselves. And so that's definitely some place that I gathered inspiration from. So that together with the language, incorporating Swahili into my music, incorporating lived experiences in Africa and in Kenya, as much as there's a lot of Western influence, I feel like that sort of ties it together.
Wow, that's really special. Yeah, it's great to see the influence that Beyonce's had because I mean she's so popular and icon here. Taylor Swift, like
Yeah.
it's really neat. Some of these tours are huge. Like
Mhm.
I've seen Beyonce live before, and that concert was really, really neat. I know that they get around the world. Do they get to Kenya sometimes? Some of these artists?
Yes, they do sometimes, but we haven't been graced by Beyonce yet. Hopefully, hopefully one day. But yes, they've been here. I think Chris Brown has been here. Who else? I don't know why I'm forgetting the names, but yes, they do come. They do come.
Oh, that's really neat. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
So I think it would be really neat to hear about. So you performed internationally at Midem in Cannes, built a
Hmm.
strong foundation in Kenya. So how are you approaching your expansion in the US market as an independent?
Interesting. I'd say I'm approaching it anyway. I would approach entering the markets in any country. And that's with open arms and with expectations that, whoever will gravitate to my music is who is actually meant for me. And I think there's something beautiful about being content about that, especially when it comes to looking at your audience because it can be so easy, to compare yourself and be like, oh, so and so has this amount of followers. I also want that for myself. And for me, it's like if I'm called to, express myself or share my music with only a certain number of people in this world, wherever they may be. And I think that's perfect. I think that's great. So I'd say open arms, expectations, but contentment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You have a really good energy about you. Like,
Thank you.
it's so I'd love to hear how it's been like managing a family, having kids, and also really exploring yourself as an artist and continuing to release new work. It takes a lot. As a parent
Mhm.
myself, I really respect that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, kids, they change your life completely. It's hard
Yes.
to have the same viewpoints or the same perspectives on life before children and after children. But I'd say it's definitely positively impacted me. One, because I have people to live for. I have people to set an example for, people who are looking up to me to see how I navigate life, to see how I navigate career. So, if anything, it's given me more motivation. And in fact, I ended up studying my songwriting degree in the UK, which was actually online. I stumbled upon that while I was pregnant with my firstborn. And I just wanted to be home with him. I wanted to have a situation where I could still be close to him as a mom, but I could still study and do what I wanted. And there was no universities in Kenya at the time that could provide a degree in songwriting, which is really what I wanted to do. And so to stumble upon that, doing my research and finding that university in the UK, truly it was alignment. And I think that partly, because of my son, because of being pregnant with him at the time.
It's really a good thing that you're doing because you're showing a good example for really pursuing what you love, working hard for it, and inspiring your kids by continuing to create and grow your success as an artist. In my own life, find that sharing music with my kids, singing with them, getting them to nurture that passion for it is so valuable. And I'm sure that your home is full of music. If your husband's a producer, you're a singer-songwriter, like I'm sure that your kids really like the music. There's probably music always playing in the house.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think they have a choice. It runs through their veins. It runs through. So night routines, will pull up the guitar, sing their favorite songs, before bedtime. So it's definitely beautiful.
That's so cool. I'm sure that they like to dance.
Yes, they do. Especially my second born. He loves to dance.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So have you been able to pull in from different genres in your production, or have you found that Afro Soul is already quite an established genre
Mhm.
amongst Kenya and in the Afrobeat space?
Yes, I think, as I mentioned, I really gather a lot of inspiration songwriting wise from country music. I think R&B also plays a huge role in terms of, just the texture of the music, the pads, the emotiveness, the melodies as well. I think R&B does that. And then definitely when it comes to the rhythm, and my husband, he loves the drum. He's also a drummer. And so I'll probably be thinking of the melody and the lyrics, and then he'll come in and he's like, "No, we need a group. We need this type of groove." So yeah, I'd say I'd say those three.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. Now, it would be really interesting to hear, for people that have never been out to Kenya, right? Like, I'm sure that for people to see the wildlife, to see the land is such a big deal, but also seeing the major cities are as well. So, for people that plan to visit, what would you suggest that they check out?
Gosh, where do I start? First of all, Nairobi. Nairobi actually means the city under the sun. So expect a lot of sunlight, a lot of beautiful sunlight, a lot of beautiful sunsets, a lot of skyscrapers. I'd say food. Food is such a huge part of our culture. That and the live music scene. So In Kenya, our music industry is still growing and we've made such amazing strides over the years. But I'd say a place where we're really thriving is in the live department. So if there's anyone coming to Nairobi, the first thing you need to do is get yourself a ticket to see, any show. We have such a big array of musicians who are singing different genres. There's people here doing rock, there's people here doing country, there's people here who are really sticking to, cultural music that will have more of the rhythm, more of the traditional instruments, because I think we have 42 tribes in Kenya, just in Kenya. So it's really hard, to box musicians into one particular genre. And I think that's part of what makes Nairobi and Kenya really beautiful. So culture, food, and live music is definitely what I'd say.
That's incredible. So there's absolutely like a very rich and diverse culture there. If you have like 42 tribes there,
Yeah.
that's a lot, because I can imagine that the music can differ. Does Swahili tie everybody together, but there's also other languages as well?
Correct. That's exactly right. So Swahili is generally what, you'd speak to anyone in Kenya and they'd understand you because most people grew up being taught Swahili. However, there's the 42 tribes under that. So personally, my mother is Kamba. There's a tribe called Kamba, and which is from the eastern side of Kenya. Then there's Taita. My father is Taita, which is from the coastal side of Kenya. So really two different cultures. And then there's the western side of Kenya where you'll have the lakeside. They have different instruments. Their instruments are made differently. And then, yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a
Yeah, I would be so interested in checking out the music videos, throughout your region, to see, like, also if we're able to see different traditional dress as well, all that cultural richness as well that must be seen there. Like, that must be
Mhm.
really special.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's something that we have an obligation and a responsibility to just continue to carry with us. And as much as we are heavily influenced by the West and Western music, and we've learned so much from there, I think, bringing something different and bringing what we bring to the table and realizing that it's valuable and can be used and is beautiful is, I think, the approach that most of us are taking now in Africa.
That's incredible. Wow. Like, it's really beautiful. I now am so excited to hear more of your music, to explore more of the genres, as well as to hear more of the music that's coming out of Kenya, because
Mhm.
you could be trailblazing here something that could break into new sounds and influences here in the US and around the world. You keep pushing that power duo, you and your husband. Like, I'm sure the sky's the limit. You're going to do wonderful things. Really look forward to
Absolutely.
seeing more of your work. And I would love to talk to you again as you release more music. And it's such a pleasure to connect with you, Nuru. And is there anything that you want to leave us with before we end the call?
I just say play Kenyan music. And, now that you've mentioned wanting to exploit more, I know this interview is about me, but I would really love to have you check out a Kenyan artist called BN. I think you have a better understanding of the Kenyan scene and the songwriting and everything that we represent right now currently. I'd say he's the one artist that has really managed to break through that ceiling and is now representing us, Africa and even internationally. So definitely check out BN. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Well, I'll have to definitely check it out.
Okay.
So you said BN. Is that like, how would you spell it?
BIEN. BN.
Okay. That's great. It's like the Spanish word for good. That's good.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll let you go, but I hope that you have a beautiful day. Enjoy the weather, and we'll absolutely be in touch. I am so grateful to meet you, Nuru. And yeah, tell your family I said hi.
I will. Thank you for having me, Trevor.
Always a pleasure.
All right.